This is a book about all the creatures that live in the rainforest that Mr. Sting hasn't told us about. Would you like to hear about the Brazilian wandering spider?
Not really, no.
Causes around 5 human fatalities a year. Lives on the forest floor. What is that?
Head torch. I'm looking for, well, what's it called? Wandering spider.
Would you like to hear about the fer de lance?
Is it furry?
It's a venomous pit viper. Its bite will cause necrosis of the tissue surrounding the initial wound. The venom will cause kidney failure, fever, and death in 3 to 4 days. Would you like to see a photograph of somebody who's been bitten by one of these?
Oh, God!
It's okay. It lives in North and South America, so that's,
Here.
exactly here. Oh, the botfly. Now, this is a marvellous thing. The botfly cannot sting a human directly, but catches smaller insects, lays its larvae upon them, and then releases them. If the smaller host insect then bites the human, the botfly larvae are impregnated into the skin. The larvae then pupates inside the skin, at which point they eat their way out and fly away. The BBC Natural History Unit reports the case of a man who was bitten behind the ear and kept awake at night by the sound of the botfly larvae eating the flesh inside his head.
Hammond didn't have a good night.
But that does affect your control quite badly, not having a shock
Can I
Thanks
make a
for telling me.
suggestion?
I'm glad you said that up here, Hammond.
Well, I'm
on my favourite road. Hang on, before you go.
What?
I genuinely don't like heights, OK?
Oh, no.
It's my biggest failing. Among many, I accept. You know that you drive into the back of my car and it's a very funny joke?
You don't want it to happen here.
Well, you want me to drive into it?
No.
No.
I'll cut your head off. You will need a beep there, BBC Two.
Oh, look at that! Yes, it is.
That is moving towards us, isn't it?
Yes.
Did you read last week about that one that ate a Bentley whole, complete with the man in it?
Yeah, but it spat the Bentley out.
He knows.
Carries a spare set of teeth.
It's amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, not good for you, I'm afraid, Hammond. I've got some medical research here. That racing saddle will put between 25 and 40% of your body weight on your perineum, which is the bit of you between your anus and your scrotum. And as a result, blood oxygen levels in surrounding areas will drop by 80%.
What are you saying?
Medical advice, cycling is good for you. It's healthy,
Wrong,
gets your
wrong,
lungs working,
wrong.
non-impact.
Totally wrong. Good for your cardiovascular system,
See?
bad for your chap.
My what?
Your chap. Look, honestly, listen to this. Cyclists aged over 40 are considered at greater risk of erectile dysfunction.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Clarkson.
There's a top coat of, tiny crystals.
Kind of float over 130, you start floating around a little bit.
It's slicker. The surface responds differently to the tire.
Does it slide about?
Sometimes. Depends on how much horsepower you put down.
425, what will happen then?
You'll spin out.
Okay.
You'll spin out.
Doesn't bode
So
well
what am
for
I
you,
going to
does
do
it?
at 640 horsepower?
You're going to have to be awfully careful.
All that remained was to lap Hammond's crash-damaged death trap.
There are quite a lot of right-hand turns, aren't there, in that first bit?
Yeah. You're really putting a lot of stress on the front left suspension.
Exactly.
If your car had, let's say, an accident and had been mended cheaply on the front left corner.
Stop talking.
Now, there is a loading bay just outside our office, which is a lot more convenient, but obviously there's no parking there. Now, I took a photograph in this loading bay this week, OK? Here it is. Now, we may recognise this car if we watch The Apprentice. It belongs to Lord Sir Sugar.
Yeah, but to be fair, his chauffeur was probably loading him into the building at the time.
Exactly.
So it could be in the loading bay.
Technically, this was a delivery, so that's fine. More worrying is this, OK? We zoom in. Now, right there's a little Fiat Panda parked, blocking the door, and the honest working men whose job is to deliver things to the BBC. And I'm wondering, Hammond, who has a little black Fiat Panda?
I don't know. At the BBC? I don't know.
Is it? Does David Attenborough? No, he doesn't.
Paxman.
Moving on.
Hammond, what is it that happens when you drive a Ferrari 458 very fast on a hot day?
I believe it catches fire.
Yeah, only a few have caught fire.
Sorry, James.
It didn't open.
Morning.
Morning. How are you?
Oh, great.
What is this about?
It was the man with the strimmer at 5:30 I like. What? Oh, yeah.
I know, it's a new range. They're ever so fashionable. Chaps, there's a racetrack in the garden.
Lamb's heads, that we've worked out the head, brain.
I'm in a horror film.
These deeply impressive things are testicles.
Don't want testicles.
Have you had the brain?
No, I'll have a bit.
Have a bit of brain. It's absolutely lovely. Hammond, since you're not eating, why don't you show us what you bought to baby Jesus?
We do a lot of testing here, but we don't do too much the top speed because it's very bumpy. You could jump from one lane to the other lane, so it's and also today is windy, so you need to take care about the wind as well.
What, do we need to tack?
These are the biggest salt flats in the world. They're almost completely lifeless and as wide as Portugal. No car has ever driven across them. If you run out of water, you will die. If your car breaks down and you can't be rescued, you will die. If you run out of food, you will die. It's like driving on a creme brulee. There's a primeval ooze covered with a thin layer of salty crust. If you have thin tyres, you will break through that crust, get stuck, and you will die. So it advises us to fit fat tyres and remove as much weight as possible before setting off. Well, how hard can it be?
Don't say that.
If I told you it was chicken,
Well, have chicken then.
could I have it medium rare?
What, a medium rare snake?
Well, how would you have it? Well done, I suppose. Richard didn't go for the snake salad or the snake soup, and he really didn't go for the still-beating snake heart.
No, I'm fine.
Speak of the devil, the sparrows have arrived. Oh, look at that. Wafer-thin sparrow?
No, I'm fine.
One little wafer-thin sparrow.
No, I'm fine.
But after 7 days, he had to eat something. It's not unusual for expensive cars to catch fire when they're first released. Ferrari had a problem with the 458, and then just this week we've been hearing about Porsche GT3 problems. There's a shot here of one in Switzerland. The internet is awash with rumours of other examples of this. Porsche themselves admit it has happened in Italy as well, and have now suspended deliveries of the new GT3 to customers.
Yeah, but what if you'd already taken delivery of your brand new and expensive GT3 that might catch fire at any moment?
Well, we really need to ask a customer, don't we, who's just done that. Hammond!
What?
You've just had a GT3 delivered, haven't you?
Yes.
Your challenge is to run out before you get there.
Hey?
This is something you'll want to do as the town in question is called Chernobyl.
Can we actually? We can't go there, can we?
But then Mr. Manlove came to Hammond's car.
First of all, there was some black sports-type tape with what turned out to be blood staining on it.
Whoa. Somebody's sports tape with blood on the end of it. Somebody's been banned.
And murder.
Again, the steering wheel had what appeared to be saliva staining on it. And lastly, really, we had pubic hairs and faeces present with them.
Oh, sorry, did you just say the word feces, you said?
What certainly appeared to be fecal matter, yes.
That's poo, isn't it?
That's poo. It's...
Your car's got poo in it.
Is that normal that you've...
Well, it's like driving around in a Moroccan prison, isn't it, really? I'm in the front of his car. After the forensic tests, my colleagues were very distressed.
Oh, no.
Moving onto the front passenger seat, there was a rhinestone. And then we had chemical reactions that we would frequently find if we were examining different types of cases on potentially vaginal swabs present.
Vaginal?
Material on the passenger seat.
It says no cars, no people, no motorcycles and no horses.
Well, what's it for then?
Moments later, we found out. It's all right, James, why don't you just... He is actually going. James doesn't like heights. Sadly, though, there wasn't much on the menu for Hammond. So this is, well, these are dragonflies.
Don't eat dragonflies.
You've never tried one?
Nobody eats dragonflies.
This is crickets. These are water beetles.
I don't eat water beetles.
They're tarantulas.
I especially don't eat tarantulas.
Or some big spiders, anyway. Thing is, during the time of Pol Pot, they were starving and they had to, and they actually discovered that they're lovely. Do you know what Pol Pot means? Everyone thinks it's his name.
Bad menu?
It stands for political potential. Same as Jeremy Corbyn, same policies.
You're eating a dragon?
Well, it's a dragonfly.
What do they taste like?
Dragonflies.
Oh.
I knew you'd have a problem, so I've got you some hard-boiled eggs, Hammond. This is a cricket. Actual, look. You can see that.
Do you eat it, or do you disembowel it and then eat the flesh? And just eat
Oh my God! There's got a bird in it.
What?
Oh.
That may be beyond my life.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that thinking, mate, really?
That is pretty revolting.
It is, I know, but if you've got a socialist running, you know, like Britain, when we've got Corbyn, this is what we're going to be eating.